folks. It's Kai here. Just got back from a weekend, a long weekend. It's Canada Day over the weekend, and I was sailing with my friends, which was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed lots of sun and good times. I even went swimming, which I kind of felt a little bit worried about at first, given recent surgery and such. But once I got in the water, it was fine. Even though I wasn't doing anything on the boat, that was part of why I came, is because my friends were okay with me just being the chef. So I actually didn't pull any ropes or do all the crazy stuff. But I still, even kind of just being on the boat was a bit of a push for me, given that I had 5 weeks post-op. So anyways, bit of a word to the wise, just play it safe, I would say. I wouldn't not go, but I just, you have to know your limits and kind of play within them. And I definitely was testing my limits this weekend, and I felt a bit of stretch here and there, and I was like, oh, that's probably not good. So I'm very keen to get back into my full life, and so I recognize that I'm chomping at the bit, but I have to be careful. Also, some of you have been asking for a bit of a display of my chest, and yeah, I'm happy to do a bit of that. This is me 5 weeks post-op, so as you can see, everything's coming together quite nicely. I'm giving you a bit of a side profile. I've got a bit of almost preformed pecs or whatnot. Well, it's not preformed. I worked on them before I went to surgery, but yeah, you can see the right side is healing quite nicely, a little bit faster actually than the left side, but I'm starting to get a bit of nipple sensation back, and I'm putting Scar Guard on this so that hopefully that'll help with fading. I've also booked an appointment with a local dermatologist to see if there's anything else I can do to improve the healing and reduce the scarring. So there may be other things that I'll do. I don't want to go as far as laser surgery, or not laser surgery, but like laser treatment or whatnot. But anyways, I am so excited about the results, and the fact that I can wear just a shirt now is the most amazing feeling, that there's nothing between me and the shirt. I'm constantly just feeling it, in my body, and I also touch myself quite a bit. Oh, oops. And so, yeah. Anyways, I could go on and on. I'm very keen, as I demonstrated this weekend, to go shirtless, but I also have to be really cautious with the scarring, not to expose it to too much sunlight. So it's really tough when the weather's super nice, not to whip off my shirt, but so I just did little sessions of it, and I put SPF 110 on my nipples and my incision scars. Anyways, so yeah, so I had a lot of fun. I also was just doing some more processing and journaling around my recent chest top surgery and the whole experience, and I also was feeling a bit I find myself increasingly outward focused, and I was exploring why that was, because so far this whole transition has been fairly inward focused, and what resonates and what feels like home, and what I need to do next, and it's all been kind of very organic. And when I say I'm outward focused, I'm starting to find myself comparing myself to other guys, and wondering, well, why don't I have this, and what about that, and that whole thing is crazy making for me, and I am very cautious when I start to do that. I catch myself, and I ask myself what's going on and what's driving that. I know a lot of it has to do with dysphoria, and that is something we live and we manage, and we try to do as much as we can. But there's certain things that we just have to let go of. Well, I should say that I need to learn to let go of, right? So I was journaling, and I had a bit of an insight in that I've kind of been full on doing action around transition, whether that's getting my T letter or talking to the gender specialist, or making YouTube videos and going and organizing the whole top surgery thing. So like I've been go, 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 go. And this is the first time that there's nothing to do around my surgery except wait for the effects of T to fully implement. And the name change thing is just a waiting game anyways once you've submitted the paperwork. So I find myself in this place where I'm like, okay, now I have to wait, and I'm super uncomfortable with the waiting feelings. And so, of course, my MO in the past has been to escape, and I escape by starting to compare, looking outside of myself, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, oh, okay. So I've just been recentering with some meditation, and there's other things that I do as well that really help me out of that loophole, because I'm very careful to not compare myself to others, because we're all different in one sense, and I think dysphoria is very real on one hand, but there's certain things that I can't do, and I've done everything I can now, and now I just have to, there's certain things I need to accept as is right now, in order to have kind of a peaceful existence, which is of importance and value to me, and so I go about that. And I also found it really interesting today. I had a bit of a thing at work where I got an email, and I read it a particular way, and I just like went in right immediately into like agitation mode. And I found really interesting that since starting testosterone, and a lot of you have shared about it as well, as you go from 0 to 10 in like no amount of time. And so learning how to manage that a bit more, in terms of not, for me at least, I try to put in some pause. So, of course I had my initial email, which I didn't send, which I'm really glad I didn't, to respond to the situation with a lot of strong language I wouldn't have used in the past, where it was a bit of a know-it-all, and just was like full on, somewhat, I wouldn't say aggressive, but it was definitely very strong, and really a bit of a pushback. And so I didn't send it, and I said, well, it's already past business hours, so, just let the night to kind of think about it. And then I went back and reread the email, and I totally misread the situation, and actually there's, a better way out here. And so I don't need to send this strongly worded email. So that taught me a really important lesson, that I should, to kind of manage this new impulse that I have, that I'm finding coming up quite a bit. It's just to kind of let it simmer a bit, because usually the feeling subsides and there's a little bit more clarity afterwards. So yeah, I've been doing that a little bit more lately, which is new. Yay. And then the other thing that I've been thinking about lately is, now that I've had top surgery, and I'm feeling more and more confident as I progress in the effects, and in my T journey, that I'm kind of starting to turn my attention to engaging potentially someone else, in a romantic sort of way. And I don't know if I've shared a lot about my sexuality. I think it's pretty freaking amazing. I love my sexuality, and I don't actually label it. I've tried different labels, and they're all like, meh, you know, either they sound weird or they just don't capture all the variants and the outliers and and so I've just settled on Surprised by Joy, and I really like it because I usually am. I'm just like, oh, okay, I settle on this label, and then suddenly I like somebody, you know, of this, and so I'm like, well, what the fuck. And so now I'm just really open to whatever comes up in terms of a connection, a spark with someone else, unspecified in terms of gender or, you know, whatever, right? You know, obviously for me, I focus very much on characteristics that and there's certain things that certain things in people that I'm more or less drawn to, and for me a big one is kindness, and gentleness, and I find, you know, that when I do see that in someone, I'm like, oh, hello. And those people really pop out in the landscape for me. And so, yeah, I don't know. I just, and that mixed in with my increased recent libido, it makes for very interesting times in terms of how I engage and how I go about, you know, interacting with people that I'm interested in. And, you know, for me, it's really interesting to observe that I've become so much more visual when it comes to either attracting someone's attention or noticing someone or whatever, right? The case may be. Um, you know, I'm picking up a lot on, you know, of course their nature, but also, you know, I'm just like, um, one of my gay friends calls it the guy scan, and I find myself doing it. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is so not, you know, how I want to go about doing this. But I catch myself doing it, and it's kind of funny, and I chuckle at myself now. I can take it with a grain of salt, but it is different, and I find it very interesting. Anyways, I could go on and on. Probably need to do a whole separate video on sexuality, but that's just a little bit of something of what I've been thinking about. Anyways, I hope everyone's doing well, and I'll talk to you later.